cease to breathe for the stranger that you meet. Passers by that you see. Sisters. Hi, I'm Soleil Dakota. Welcome to Musical Medicine. Tonight's guests are Drs. Gerald Jampolsky and Diane Cirincione-Jampolsky, co-founders of Attitudinal Healing International, a global nonprofit foundation. I'm going to open the show with brief bios of Jerry and Diane's illustrious, impactful, and heartwarming lives and careers. After our interview with Jerry and Diane, I'll be sharing a performance of a special song I wrote, so stay tuned. Gerald G. Jampolsky, MD, is a graduate of Stanford Medical School. He's a former faculty member of the University of California School of Medicine in San Francisco, where he held fellowships in child psychiatry at Langley Porter Neuropsychiatric Institute. He is an internationally recognized authority in the fields of psychiatry, health, and education. In 1975, he established the first Center for Attitudinal Healing in Tiburon, California, where children, adolescents, and adults with life-threatening illnesses and grief and loss could find transformative peace of mind. There are now dozens of independent centers for attitudinal healing throughout the world. Dr. Jampolsky has published extensively and is the author of Love is Letting Go of Fear, Teach Only Love, Goodbye to Guilt, Out of Darkness into the Light, Forgiveness, and many other titles. Diane V. Cirincione-Jampolsky, PhD, is a therapist and former postdoctoral clinical researcher at Langley Porter Psychiatric Institute. She holds master's and PhD degrees in clinical psychology and a Bachelor of Science degree in organizational behavior. Dr. Cirincione is an internationally known lecturer, author, and entrepreneur with 40 years of business experience. She serves on numerous boards, including the World Business Academy. With Dr. Jampolsky, she co-founded and currently serves as Executive Director of Attitudinal Healing International. Dr. Cirincione is the author of Sounds of the Morning Sun and co-author of many books with Dr. Jampolsky, including Love is the Answer, and for children, Me First and the Gimme Gimmes. That's such a fun title. Welcome back for part 2 of our interview. I'm just delighted to have you both here. And
thank you.
Thank you.
I'm already feeling blessed by meeting you and hearing the both of you talk, so thank you so much. So we were talking before this second part of the interview that perhaps we could talk about change and what keeps us back from changing and how we can make change and release our limitations in our lives.
Go ahead, Jerry.
Well, it's our beliefs that we learn, and as we grow up, and oftentimes we take on the beliefs of our culture, that they're bad guys and good guys. We take on the belief that guilt gets you something that you want, and I think holding on to guilt certainly limits us and keeps us from feeling that we're worthy of love, and that we deserve love, and that our function here is to give love all the time. I remember a child who was about 14 years of age, and he was dying of cancer, and he only had a couple of days more to live, I thought. And I asked him, if he could give advice to other kids. He was the first kid we had that was dying. What advice they would give. And he said immediately that tell everyone that their purpose in life, no matter how sick they are, as long as they're breathing, is to give love to everyone and not exclude that love from anybody. Well, I think many of us feel afraid of love. We've been hurt by love. Many of us feel ashamed for things that we've done in the past, so we think we don't deserve love. So we do things to cause us to hurt ourselves, like becoming an alcoholic, as I once was. And we tend to shoot ourselves in the foot. I think that when we really believe that nothing's impossible, and that our mind and heart has no limitations, we don't have to use the world's law that predicts the past is going to predict the future. And so we think we can't get out of that. Or if there is a change, we get frightened about it. But when we know that we're coming from love, and we're messengers of love and forgiveness, then life becomes a bowl of cherries.
Or when things happen in life that are traumatic, tragic, painful, we have different kind of coping skills for it, because there's always another way of looking at the world. We don't use denial at all in any way, shape, or form. In fact, we look straight at what's happening. That's why we work in areas of crisis and refugees and life-threatening illnesses, etc. We're very present with what happens in life, but knowing that we're more than just these bodies acting out on the planet. We're talking about change, and I remember through so many couples in my therapeutic practice, I noticed the one thing that rarely got discussed was their belief systems about change. And we don't often think about how we ourselves, what is our relationship with change? It can go anywhere from I love change, I'm excited, life is always a good adventure, to I am terrified of change, and I'll do everything to hold on to my life and my world the way it is, and myself. And so, and anywhere in between. And there's no judgment on where it is. It's just really important to know where you are on the spectrum, and if you're coupling with somebody else, to find out where they are, because one person could be here, and another person could be here, and their life's a tug of war, and they don't know why. So our relationship with change is very important, and it's all based on our belief systems. And again, there isn't one way that's better than another. Attitudinal healing doesn't have any judgments about how people should be. It's about understanding who we are, how our ego structure works, and what choices do we have about shifting out of that. So if your belief system is that change is always scary, then you're going to buck from it and do everything possible to make sure it doesn't happen. If we are fearful inside, we are more entrenched in fundamental views of the world. Our world is narrower. So we're over here, the world is narrower, our views. I want to stay here and I need to keep everybody else here. If you're not with me, you're against me. Because it's scary. It's all about love and fear. And so in many ways, the more open we are, that there's more love that we were talking before about. We don't really need to keep anyone outside the circle of love. That doesn't mean we're friends with people or we ever even talk to them again. But in our mind, through the healing process, attitudinal healing is about healing our hearts and our minds deeply through forgiveness. And that forgiveness doesn't mean permissiveness, doesn't mean that someone's not responsible for what they do, doesn't mean that we agree with them. It's none of those things. It's about releasing our hearts from the judgments that we have about other people and ourselves. So that allows us to shift and change. When someone's really holding on and they say, I really want to change, but, or I really want to forgive, but, I just say, is that really working for you? Because, if it's not, when you wake up tomorrow morning, you'll know that you have another way.
I remember a number of years ago when I was doing my therapy bit that I saw a very attractive woman who was having an affair with a married man who was rather well known. And he kept saying that he's going to leave his wife, but of course he never did. And she became very depressed and actually suicidal, feeling that she might want to jump off the Golden Gate Bridge. But she started to see the benefits of forgiving herself, and then moved to another city. And it was about 4 years ago, you and I were driving across the Golden Gate Bridge, and the woman where we give the money to said, "Hi, Dr. Jampolsky, do you remember me?" And unfortunately, I didn't remember her. Said, "I was the person that was going to jump off the bridge. Look at me now."
Oh my goodness.
She conquered the fear that she had. When love came into her heart, she began to love herself and forgave the past. And it was just when she was there maybe for through much than we...
Yeah, we used to see her like at 5 and 6 in the morning when we're on our way to the airport, or 4 in the morning. We used to have toll takers on the bridge. Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Right, yeah. Yeah, it was cute. It was always like very special. We tried to find her booth, and then,
Very special.
Yeah, right. One of our books, Change Your Mind, Change Your Life, really talks about that, the whole concept of change. How we think about change really dictates our lives. And attitudinal healing is about uncovering the belief system, because our attitudes are all formed from our core belief systems. And there's a bumper sticker, it's like my favorite one in the whole world. And it says, "Don't believe everything you think." Because we're all pretty crazy most of the time, full of judgments and this and fears and all this stuff. So and many people believe that their belief systems are not changeable. So for them, maybe they're not.
Let's talk about that.
Yeah, well, it's like, what do I believe in? And if this belief system is causing me fear and pain and anxiety and separation from others, can I change that? Because the belief system creates the projection of what we see out in the world, and then what we project out, we perceive, comes into us, and we say, oh, that's really the world. Well, no, it's not. It's really just coming out of your own belief system, the way you see it. That's why Jerry and I could have an experience and witness the same thing, but have a totally different experience of it. Or we could meet someone that maybe really triggers me, but doesn't trigger Jerry at all, because I still have something unhealed in me that reminds me of that person, of somebody that I'm still unhealed with. All the reasons why we have unhealed relationships. So we're just saying that we have a lot of choices, and choices really bring joy in your life. They bring happiness in your life. It's most of us at a core level, I don't think, really believe we deserve the right to be happy. And so that's always a really important question. I was asked that years ago, when I was like shocked when I was very young and making decisions that all of them weren't great. And a person said, do you really believe you deserve the right to be happy? And I thought to myself, don't I? Don't I? Don't I? Oh God, maybe I don't. And so I took that question very seriously until I changed my thinking and to say, yeah, I really do believe I deserve the right to be happy, and so does everybody else. And therefore, I've made choices that changed my life and allowed me to be happy.
What are some of those choices? Give an example.
I think, the idea of what is impossible and what's not impossible. Jerry would like to talk about that. You might want to pick up from that.
Well, when we believe that we're brought up by a culture to think a lot of things are impossible. But we happen to believe that the mind has no limits, and that nothing is impossible. I remember a guy I saw a long time ago who decided to get a divorce from his wife, and a 16-year-old girl was just livid and angry about that. And he thought it was impossible. She changed her name from his last name to someone else's name. And he thought it was impossible to really have a relationship with her again. Can never really forgive him. He tried to write a letter to her and asked me would I help edit the letter. And I said, well, this looks like kind of an attack thought. This looks like you're really upset with her. And this.
Right.
But finally, when he edited the letter, he had one sentence, which was the first sentence, which is, I love you. Yeah. And he learned that one of the things that you never close the door on your children or anyone else. Love. Always keep the door open. Well, a lot of people are so angry that they, out of revenge, they say, you're never going to come to my house again.
Yeah, that's right.
Their daughter gets pregnant, whatever it might be. But we find an attitude of healing that to never allow yourself to close the door to life, which is being closed. And so if you don't open the door to love, what you end up doing is being half dead. You're not really fully alive. So the belief system has a lot to do with that. Nothing's impossible in terms of forgiveness.
So have you done a lot of your belief system changing in groups or with one another, or support from other people? How has that worked at times?
Yes, you teach what you want to learn, and facilitators and our different groups of attitudinal healing that that I attend, that everyone's an equal teacher or student to each other. So I find sometimes it's easy to forget some of these things, and people are there reminding me about this. I remember I was seeing a group of people who were victims of Hitler, and were in Auschwitz and many terrible places. And I was helping them learn to see that, not to agree with what Hitler did, but not to carry on the anger that's going to be hurting them. And then I had an opportunity. I was writing a book to go to Germany and Austria, and so I went into awful Auschwitz and other places. And it was the most upsetting experience of my life. And all of a sudden I came back feeling angry about all that. All these spiritual principles went out the door. And the group of people who were victims of that helped me let go of my anger. So yes, I learned from each other. We learned from each other. And we're there to learn not to make judgments on each other and help each other let go of the past. So I think one of the most important things is that I used to think was impossible is to say, I'm not my past.
Jerry, I'm going to add in a point here, because you mentioned about the fellow whose daughter he said to, that he decided to not judge her and just let it be and love her, and we wrote that note to her. And about 5-6 years passed.
That's right.
5-6 years passed, and they got closer and closer. And one day, she's in her 20s then, she said to her dad that she was changing her name back to their family name. And he just smiled. And
it was really powerful. Yeah,
it was really powerful. It's really giving up your attachment. I mean, we know from many of the spiritual practices, certainly in Buddhism too, but our attachments are what keep us in pain. And so it's constantly, for us, it's this constant, like, okay, like the letting go to see what we're attached to. And that's about change also. I remember one day, this is just this year, I had a ring that I really loved. And it wasn't an expensive ring, but it had like a sundial on it. It looked very Gaelic, and I just loved it. And I remember saying to myself one day, and I've had many experiences like this, but literally, I remember saying, I was walking down to my office saying, I really love this ring. Maybe someday I'll have another one made kind of like it that's, maybe a little more expensive or something. I just love this ring. I'm so attached to it. I sat at my desk, I swear to God. I turned my hand over, and the ring fell apart in 3 places onto the desk. And I looked at it, and it was like, oh my God. It's like, so we really need to watch what we think, what we're attached to, and be mindful. It's mindfulness. It's practicing mindfulness. And when we don't, I think that people say, wow, the journey that you guys are on, it's so amazing. I said, well, actually, it's not so much that it's amazing, it's just that it's quicker. It used to be, it took like months or a year. Now it's like, you get the lesson? Get the lesson? Right there. It's right there. It's just like there's no lapse of time anymore. So we change. We're influenced by each other. 34 years together of really, really committing to service and to love and to being students and teachers to each other as we are with others. Seeing everybody around us as a teacher we can always learn from. Every experience that we have is a lesson we can learn from. And when we start the day, every day, we say this is going to be the absolute best and happiest day of our lives, regardless of what's put on our plate, because we know even if tragedy happens in it, we are going to grow from it, and we accept that as part of life's cycle. And that's really been so helpful. We wake up at 4 in the morning and we do our spiritual practice.
Well,
and it's
we had a learning
wonderful
experience last night, Diane.
Well, what are you going to say now, Jerry?
Do we dare share it?
Oh yeah, yeah, you can share that.
Then it was hard to park our car where we lived where the houseboats are, and she parked it in she told me near the bicycle shop in Sausalito.
Yeah, right. It's under construction. This was like hardly any place to park.
We had to go out to dinner last night, and we go there, and she said, "Someone stole my car. It's not there." And I said, "Well, gee, Diane, I thought you said you parked it over there where the shop was with the." "Oh no, this is where it was. I remember calling you from here." So what we decided to do is call the police and trying
See if it was towed, see if it was stolen.
We had one of our employees took us to the place we were having dinner. And we both agreed that we weren't going to talk about that. We're going to leave that aside. That would change.
Enjoy your dinner.
That would change dinner.
Car, no car.
And they would, and we were going to take a taxi. He said, "Oh no, I'll take you home." But then we got back in bed, and I said, "Diane, I just want I'm okay
this
with
that.
This
is like the fifth time he said it.
I'm
the
okay.
fifth time he said this.
Because listen, acceptance. I'm okay that you have. I could lose the car too, But I really want you to visualize because you did say to me that you parked right near the bike shop, and this place you parked is not near the bike shop.
He said the exact same statement. This is the fifth time that even so he was apologizing for saying it, and I'm inside him going, no, bikes. God, the car's behind the bike shop. Oh my God! I got hysterical laughing.
It was never stolen.
Okay, so one of our major phrases in our lives is that to let go, let God, and lighten up. So we do laugh.
I like that.
A lot.
Lighten up also.
I mean, you need the lighten up part. I mean, we're all so serious, especially on this spiritual journey. It's supposed to look. It isn't supposed to look like anything. You're just supposed to be yourself, and and be kind to yourself. Be kind to each other. We are forgiving of each other, of everybody we work with. It's sort of like, why hold on?
Diane's 68. I'm 89, almost 90. And maybe a couple of words about aging with attitude.
Please.
We're very careful about what we put in our mouths. We're very careful what we put in our mind. Because many thoughts we put in our mind can be really very toxic and hurt us.
Right.
And we believe in counting our smile wrinkles rather than our aging wrinkles. And Diane's mother's been a great teacher. I was here at 94, and she had quite a bit of difficulty in remembering things. And not too long ago, she said, she turned it around. Instead of being upset she can't remember, she said, no, losing your memory is not all that bad. Yes. I can no longer remember what I'm upset about.
Well, we are running out of time. I can't believe time goes so fast with the two of you.
It's fun being here. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so
Jerry.
much. Thank you.
Wish you well.
Diane. Thank you so much. You also. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
I saw a man walking down the road. His feet were touching the ground, and his heart was open like the blue sky. He was walking in both heaven and earth. He was walking in both heaven and earth.
Sister, pray when the days seem long and everything seem wrong. You gotta hold on and really stay strong, cause the pain only lasts through the song. But if you can survive, your soul will live on.
I was drawn to him. I moved in closer, tapped him on the shoulder. I said, brother, can you help me please? Seems I've lost my way. Could I follow in your footsteps? Could you point the way for me? Brother, won't you please? He turned to me. He met my gaze. This is what I heard him say. Sister, pray. Hey. Sister, pray. In the stillness you'll find a light that shines inside of you. surrender me to Sister Parade. Sister Parade, for the stranger that you meet, passers by that you see. Sisters, scatter your prayers in the street. Sister Parade,
'Cause blessed is the woman who loves and live her life with no one to judge.
Sister Parade,
'Cause in her eyes all she sees is self-worth, look for victory.
Sister Parade,
'Cause a man may lead you astray, but if she prays and she keeps her faith.
Sister Parade,
'Cause even in her heart it is pain, but from the start the love she gained.
Sister, sing your song. Everybody's gonna sing along. Sisters, celebrate the people in your life. Be a light in this world, Sister Parade.
Sister pray,
Sister Parade.